Strong, healthy, flexible glutes are incredibly important for healthy hips, healthy knees. It'll reduce back pain. So let's come to our back and start working on our hips. We're just going to get started supine, however it feels good to your body. My preference is bent knee. I love the way it releases the entirety, including my low back on the mat. You could take your legs out long. Notice the arc though. Two options. And we might wiggle around just a little bit, sort of find what feels good here against the mat. We always take a few moments to connect with our body. Take a little scan, head to toe. Try and release any parts that might be sticky. But really, we just look to connect with our bodies, see where we're at, so that way when we go to practice, we know when we can challenge and when we need to back off. Awareness is always the name of the game. After you've taken some body scans, you might feel the rise and fall of breath. I like to sort of use my exhales to really feel them release my body to the mat. You can feel just how powerful the inhales are, the way they expand us. We know they're nourishing our muscles with oxygen. All right, so if your legs were out long, bend your knees. We're all going to come to planted feet, bent knees. Take our feet hip distance apart. So I said we're going to be working the glute, but the best way to work your muscles is when your joints are in their full range of motion. So we have to get into that slowly. So we're going to take these really wide windshield wipers. That's why our feet are as wide as the mat. You're trying to set your knees down as far as they'll go. We just started. So we're just starting to explore the range of motion in our hips. So if your knee doesn't drop to the center right away, that's no big deal. And it's sort of part of that exploratory process, telling our bodies, hey, hips don't always take this full range, but it's safe to do so. And then when we start accessing the seat, it's going to feel, we're not going to be using muscles that are already loosened up or using our tendons, our muscles differently because our hips aren't warmed up. So that's the whole point in getting into range of motion. All right, one more little windshield wiper. We'll plant our feet, give our knees a tuck in, sort of rock and roll it out. All right, right knee stays tucked, left leg goes long. Big squeeze, little rock. We're still looking for that full range of motion. And then the left hand is going to take the right leg across the body. This is our single leg twist. Right hand reaches. That's going to help you provide stability. So notice how this feels in your lower back and your seat. And getting a nice little stretch here. Your head could face the ceiling. If you want to invite some neck stretch, you could look over to your right fingertips that are anchored to the mat. A nice place to sigh out. Our exhales relax our body, so it can help us deepen the pose. We're looking again to relax the muscles, to open up the hip. Head comes center, leg comes center, give it a little hug and squeeze. Left leg comes up to meet it. And then left leg stays tucked, right leg goes long. Just those little rocks in circles, exploring our range. Right hand takes leg across the body, left reaches. It just ensures that our upper body stays on the mat, that the twist is all in the lower back, and you're kind of, again, open up the tush. You might look to the left, if it feels good in the neck. And then it's head center, knee center, a little hug, little rock. We'll take right up to meet it. We'll hug both knees in. Then we'll plant our feet, heels directly under knees, hands to the side, glute bridges. Everyone talks about how great they are for your seat, and they truly are. So I like to inhale, fill up. Exhale, roll my hips up. Rolling up on the exhale because it engages the core, protects the back. So now here we are. Knees are hip distance apart, and you're squeezing an invisible block between your knees. If you came prepared with a block and you want to put it between your knees, by all means. How does that feel? Big inhale. We'll exhale, lower. Windshield wiper. Big release. We'll plant our feet, heels under knees. One more. So again, I'm filling up, big inhale, rolling up on exhale. You could say, no way, I hate that. I'm coming up on inhale, and that's just fine. But when you get to the top, exhale, engage your core, protect your back. Right? The whole reason we're working our glutes, in part, not the whole reason, in part, is for our stronger, safer back. So that invisible block gets squeezed between the knees. You really feel the strong seat here. If you want a little bonus challenge, pick up your right heel. How does that feel in the left side of the glute, left side of the seat? Right heel comes down, pick up just the left heel. You notice that transfer? All right, let's do heel pickups each side 2 more times. Keeping the core engaged the whole way. Are you feeling a little heat in the seat? We'll lower on down. Windshield wiper things out. Plant our feet, give our knees a hug into our chest, take a little rock. And let's open up to happy baby. Now, we just started moving, so if you just want to hold on to the legs, kind of make it a sweeter happy baby, by all means. If you say, nope, some of that range of motion in the hips has them feeling good, I'm going to take the full happy baby, by all means. Just a nice way to counter the work we did in our spine. All right, release the feet. Give knees a hug, take another little rock. Come off to one side, and we're just gonna roll into our table. Nice, easy transition. All right. So we're gonna find our tabletop, and since we care about our spinal health, we'll take a couple rounds of cat and cow, inhaling our chest up, exhaling to arc. Connecting breath with movement. Our bridge pose really did warm up our spine, but cats and cows, great way to connect breath to movement and to continue finding some spinal movement that's really safe, really nice. So let's take one more round. Bring it to neutral. I always like bumping my hips side to side, looking back at it. That's our horse biting tail, and you'll really feel it in your side body. All right. So one more each side. Now we're all loosened up. What we're going to do, take our right foot back. Give our foot a flex. Engage our core. We love engaging the core because it's so protective to the back. And feel strong in the leg, flexing the foot. Then we're going to bend our knee. Our heel's going to be pointed up at the ceiling. How does that feel in the right side of your seat? Do you feel almost like you have a contraction going on back there? A nice intensity to the muscle. Make sure your elbows are soft and your hands are spread wide, just so that we don't feel like we're creating tension in the upper body. So now that our glute is flexed, we're going to find a contraction within the contraction. We're going to squeeze it even tighter and see if we can't drive our heel towards the ceiling. So really squeezing, kicking up the leg. It's a barely noticeable movement. Just like these little pulses up. Really building up the heat in our seat. Last one. And then we'll set our knee down. Rinse it out with our cat-cow. Because it never hurts to reset the spine. No gripping, no holding. We're not going to injure anything in the process. We'll bring it back to neutral. So hands are spread out, connected in the thumb index, with the fingertips acting as a secondary point, elbows soft, because our arms aren't going to be a hindrance to this great work that we're doing. Left leg long. Our foot is flexed. We're kind of already feeling it in the seat, and we're going to dial that up as we bend our knees, bring our heel to the ceiling. So you should feel that nice big contraction. And then we look for that contraction within the contraction. We're squeezing the seat, giving it a flex, driving the heel up. So if our glute muscles are strong and stable, they're going to help with the way we walk, with the way we extend our hips. So that's going to make things safer on our knees and our back. It's going to improve our posture. So we'll take 2 more of these little presses up. And then we'll set our knee down. Take our familiar cat-cow rinse. Give our toes a curl under, our seat a lift. We'll find a downward facing dog. And we're trying to pair strength with release. So after a couple strength exercises, let's find some big release. Let's walk our feet up to our hands, come into a forward fold. I like to inhale a half lift to really lengthen out my spine. Make sure feet are about hip distance apart. Nice big hinge, very soft knee. That'll focus you on the lower back. The hamstrings will open up, but soft knee kind of creates a little bonus space for the hamstrings. Head hangs. You could grab elbows or let your arms hang. What we really want here is to get comfortable being upside down. We'll drop our hands, roll up slow to stand. Head comes up last. We'll take a little roll, a little shrug through our shoulders. Ground into the feet. And by that I just mean really feel your feet against the mat. We're going to take the right foot, we're going to step it over the left. So our pinky edges of our feet are lined up, maybe not perfectly, our left knee soft. We're going to inhale up, exhale, have a little melt to our toes. How does that feel on the IT bands, the seat? Make sure your knees are soft, your head is hanging. If your fingertips don't want to quite touch the ground, maybe you have a yoga block. Although anything steady, a book, a water bottle will do the trick here. But we want a soft left knee, and we want our head hanging, and we're just creating some space here. Giving our neck, our back a nice break from gravity in the process of making sure our glutes are flexible. We'll roll up to stand. Moving slow, but I know this pose can be a little tricky. Unwind, step it out on our ability to balance, right? Our feet are crossed. So again, we ground, we connect, we cross left over right, soften into our knee, Really find a strong foot placement. Sink in, ground in. Inhale brings hands up. Exhale takes us down to our toes. Knees stay soft. Head is hanging. We want to be comfortable being upside down. Shake out the head. Hold on to something if it gives you the stability you need to release. Props are tools for taking our practice further. They're not cheat codes. They help us explore our foot range in a really safe place. They help us deepen and make our poses more effective. And drop our hands. Roll up slow. Unwind. Sort of step things out, making sure that we feel good in our knees, our ankles, the tops of our feet. All right, so we're gonna do, inhale, sweep our hands up, exhale, have a seat and chair. That's it. So our seat goes back, our knees are sort of tracking over our ankles to a degree. The core is engaged, always protecting the lower back. Shoulders are soft. How does this feel on your legs and on your butt? Big inhale, exhale down to your toes. Inhale up halfway. We're going to take these like mini flows going into chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, seat back up, back, hands up, right back to chair. So how does it feel to get in that way? Sit down nice and deep. Don't forget to relax your shoulders away from ears. Big inhale, exhale to toes. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, big hinge. These little half flows are going to build some heat. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, settle into your chair. Big inhale. Exhale to toes. This is our last of our little half flows. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. This time we sweep our hands up, our seat back. So we've explored getting into chair two ways. Sitting into it and sort of floating right into it. What stays the same? Our core engaged, our legs strong. Left hand forward, right hand back. Have a little look back at your fingers. Make sure your left knee doesn't creep in front of your right. Little rinse for our spine. Right hand forward, left back. Make sure right knee doesn't creep in front of left. Left hand forward, sit down deep. Big inhale. Exhale to your toes. Inhale up half. Exhale, big hinge. Step back, high plank. We're going to lower all the way to our bellies. Inhale up, a tiny little cobra. Press into our hands, come through tabletop. Have a little swing onto our seat. And we're just going to head right back onto our back. Right where we got things started. So we'll lie down, get comfortable. After this glute work, do you notice anything different with the way your back comes to the mat? Maybe a little easier, maybe no noticeable changes. We're going to take our feet mat distance apart again and our windshield wipers to release. How's the range of motion in the hips feeling now? So one of my absolute favorites. Feet come back to center, soles come together, knees come apart. This is our reclined butterfly. Big inside hip opener. Pinky edges of your feet are on the mat. Hands are by the sides. We're going to use our strong seat, our strong pelvic floor. We're going to lift up. Tailbone might come an inch or two off the mat. We're going to pulse back down. Up and down. And you'll feel your glutes. Really squeeze and kind of contracting in the pelvic floor, a little bit of a 2-for-1. Again, now if your knees feel congested at all, maybe you walk your heels further from the body. We'll do last one. Lower our seat, guide our knees together, close up our book, windshield wipers to reset our hips. Our feet are conveniently at the sides of our mat. We're going to let our knees fall together in the center. This is our constructive rest. So the opposite of what we were just doing. Rotating our hips inward, opening up our lower back. It's just a wonderful release pose. Compress into your big toes a bit, get a nice inner thigh stretch. We can use our hold here to scan our bodies, or to place right hand on belly, left on heart, and actually feel the breath rise and fall within us. Just connect with yourself, with body or breath. Find presence within yourself. A little gratitude for the work you've put in. Knees apart, feet to center. Another little windshield wiper release. We're pairing strength with release. One of my favorites, right leg crosses over left. And it's a cross like you were sitting in a chair. We'll bring our legs towards us, so the right knee is sort of lining up over your sternum, within reason. And then the hands start sliding down the shins, maybe they catch the ankles. This is our reclined shoelace pose. We want our right knee to feel safe, so if it doesn't, you might be better off in a reclined pigeon. I like reclined shoelace. Forward fold shoelace can be a lot of gravity, a lot of body weight on the knees. And this takes some of the pressure off and really opens the right side of our seat. And the trick then is to keep your shoulders and your jaw as relaxed as possible in this hold. Remember, whenever we exhale, we're telling our body, hey, I'm in a safe place to let go, and that might help you hold just a little easier. Or get into the full release, your full release of this stretch without force. Big inhale. Exhale, feet down. Unwind. Windshield wiper. I love putting transitions like windshield wipers between every movement. And just think about it as, sort of cleaning off a paintbrush. We're resetting. We know we're not coming in with anything lingering that we don't want it to. So feet plant. This time left crosses over right. And again, it's not ankle on knee. It's a deeper cross. Not quite eagle legs, I know. A lot thrown at you. Knee over sternum to the best of the ability, and hands just start sliding down the shins towards the ankles. You always have reclined pigeon if you say this pose does not work for my knees. But if this pose does work for your knees, how does it feel in the left side of the seat? If you relax your shoulders, the muscles in your face, you're going to be more inclined to soften the glute, the muscles that we're actually trying to access. Right? We don't want to just transfer tension. We want to be aware of where it's landing in our body. We want to sigh it away. We really want to give ourselves this moment to repair in the release. Big inhale. Exhale the legs down. Unwrap. Windshield wiper. We're refreshing. We don't want any gripping, any holding. Every time we come into a pose, we want our bodies to kind of be fresh. We'll plant our feet, hug our knees in, squeeze, rock things out. Set our knees off to the right. We might open up both arms this time. Look to ceiling or look left. We started with twists, we'll end with twists. If you wanted to cross left leg over and bring it a little deeper into the lower back, by all means. I'll look to the left to incorporate neck. And bring our head center, our legs. Maybe it feels good this time to tuck your knees into chest and to release by rocking, or maybe you still like to plant and sway. No wrong answers if you're listening to your body. Knees settle to the left, arms might open up. You have the option of crossing right over. But right, that's why we find those little moments for body awareness. So we always feel like we're listening to what our body wants in the moment. You might exhale, maybe even audibly sigh out. I just got done reading that the sigh out really is a big release. It just isn't always socially acceptable. Right? People think something's wrong when we sigh, but really it can just be quite cathartic. So head center, leg center, they unwrap in the process. We might circle out the knees. We might come to a last set of windshield wipers. Give ourselves a little squeeze and hug, and then come long on the mat, finding a brief savasana. And just kind of expand. Give ourselves the opportunity to check in. As we scan from head to toe, you might take a little extra focus on the glutes. Do they feel warm and worked out? Do they feel loosened and released? Has it had a noticeable impact on your back? A lot of the work we do on our glutes isn't just going to be good for our back long term. They're stronger and safer. But in the interim, their back stretches. We might feel our bodies settle to the mat on every exhale. Feel the expansion and the space we create on the inhale. Exhaling, big release. Letting go entirely. Next inhale, we'll inhale some movement to fingers and toes. Roll our wrists and our ankles. Turn our heads side to side. Ooh, maybe you take a full body stretch. Roll to one side. And come up to our easy seated position. And I will say, as always, Thank you for sharing the practice.